Hi guys, so today I'm going to show you what to do if you are running out of RAM on your computer while doing some heavy simulations or anything like that, and your software keeps on crashing due to insufficient amount of RAM. So without further ado, let's get started. I was working on this Nebula last night, and Houdini started to crash, and I just wanted to run you guys through how I problem solved. In the end, it turns out that I was running out of RAM, and there is a fix for that as well. Let's get started on this. I have this cache which I was trying to merge all of these guys down here into a single thing, and Houdini would instantly crash. So eventually, I started breaking down them in pairs of two, and till here it was fine for the first two guys. But as soon as I would try to merge them into one, it would crash. And same thing was happening over here from the third pair onwards. As soon as I try to merge even two caches, it was crashing. One of the primary reasons is the overall combined point count on this whole nebula is 291 million points. That is something way above my computer could handle. I've got 32 gigs of RAM, by the way. So basically, first I thought that it was my C drive that was getting full, the temp drive, and that's why it was crashing. As you can see, I'm extremely low on my C drive space down here. It's just got 28.2 gigs remaining, and temp drive would start filling up. So that was my instant reaction that that could be the issue. So first things first, what I did was I went into my documents and settings into Houdini's folder for to open up Houdini environment file. So when you open that file, I added one line called Houdini Temp Dir is equal to, and then give path to my other directory which had like 400 gigs before simulation remaining. So I used that as a temp drive, and still I was getting crashes in Houdini. So I figured that maybe Chrome or something else is still eating up my hard drive space. So what you do is go to properties and let this load, scroll down and go to advanced system settings. Now in the advanced tab, there's a place called environment variables. So clicking on that, and if you scroll down, there is two environment variables called temp and tmp. I changed them to the same directory that I had set up in Houdini. I just have this as my Windows temp going forward. But you need to edit both of this. So just click one, hit edit, and here it would be something like app data username, and it points to your C drive's temp folder, right? Both of them will have either same expression or a path, unless it has been changed, unless you are in a studio and your IT guy has changed it or something. But changing these two things um, uh, kind of helps. So your Chrome and everything that you open in Windows which goes into temp directory will end up being saved in the location that you specified, right? So um, that was one point, but eventually, even after doing that and restarting the system, that is something you need to do after you change the temp drive. My C drive was still getting full, and I instantly realized that it was not the temp drive that was getting full, it was the paging file, which is basically when you max out your RAM. So, like if you have 16 gigs or 32 gigs or whatever amount of RAM, as soon as it gets full, it would switch to your hard drive for using RAM. And again, same thing with that thing. To find where the settings are, just again in the system settings advanced tab, again on this advanced tab, if you see here there is a performance group, right? So if you go into settings in there and click advanced, over here you'll see virtual memory. This is where Windows start to dump stuff when you start running out of RAM. So in most cases, what happens is by default, you'll have this on automatically manage paging file size for all drives. And on your C drive, most likely it will be on system manage file size, which in turn does this. So when you have this on and this automatically manage page file size, Windows will look into recommended MBs. This thing is in MBs, so it will say, okay, this is how much you can store on C drive, and I have a much higher number here because of a reason, but this is what it will default to get you some extra playground with your cache sim size. But that didn't work. So what I ended up doing is I turned this guy off. I didn't want to automatically manage the sizes. And for each and every drive that I had up till here, till my Q drive, I went to no page file, right? Because if you see here, this drive had the highest amount of free space available with me. So that's why. And then on my W drive, what I did was for the initial or the minimum size, I put what Windows recommended. Now, in theory, what you should do for your maximum file size is multiply this value by 1.5 and put it here. So you are not over cranking your hard drive usage and read and write cycles, right? But in this case, I figured I might need about 128 gigs of RAM. So if you open calculator in Windows 10, let me move this guys a bit. So in Windows 10, just click here and scroll down and you'll see data option, right? And in data, you get gigabytes, megabytes, and the other options as well. I knew I need 128 gigs of RAM roughly. That's what I thought would work. If not, I would have cranked it up to 256 or something. So that gives me 128,000, right? And if you notice here, that's the number I put. Now, somehow, this 128 gigs of RAM reads as 127 gigs of RAM. So uh, if I come to task manager here, so if you see here, it has got 127 gigs. So it's not reading it as 128 gigs, but that's fine. But as you can see right now, I'm using 105 gigs of RAM on top of my 32 gigs of actual RAM, right? So if you're facing crashes and all that, if you need more RAM, you can do this. One thing though, after you've set this up, hit OK. I'll hit cancel in this case and OK here as well. OK on this tab and then this tab and restart your system. And then after the reboot, it will start reading that memory allocation as extra RAM sort of a thing. Now, here is the downside to it. One, your PC your workstation could become really slow. Reason being, you are going beyond the capacity of your RAM. So then it's also reading, writing that extra data onto a hard drive, right? So at times it might feel that the workstation is frozen, just let it be. It will take its time, but it will get the job done. Another downside to this system is because you are using your hard drive as RAM, it's reading and writing things to that page file again and again, right? And every time you restart, the available disk space will go up, but still it's not a good thing. So I would highly recommend that once you are done with your extremely heavy simulations, just go to your advanced tab, settings, advanced, and then change this back to automatic management of page file size, and then just use system manage on your C drive or something, right? Because in the event of hard drive crash or something, you want to retrieve the data, it's just going to make things harder. It's in general not really good and healthy for the hard drive's longevity, but this is like one of instance where I really needed to crank things up. or you can have like a separate cache drive or something which you don't mind if you're going to lose data on that, and then just use that as extra RAM. And uh, it can be, you can put maximum size as much as your drive has space, right? It could be in terabytes as well. So next time you run into RAM limitations, this is how you can fix it. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and hopefully this quick tip helps you with something. I'm sure you can do a similar paging thing in Mac and Linux. Just look for page increase RAM page file size on Mac and Linux. Um, if you like the video, please hit like. If you didn't like it, please dislike it. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow and motivates me. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, put them in the comments below. If you want to get involved in the community, we have a Discord server. The link is again in the description. I also have a Patreon, so if you feel that you would like to support channel a little bit more by subscribing to my Patreon, then for that also link is in the description, and I would really appreciate that. It kind of helps me keep motivated, and not to mention all the funds that come from Patreon, I put it back into the channel. It's not required and it's not compulsory, so there's no pressure over there. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching this, guys. I hope you find it. So until next time, take care. Bye.